Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Yang Allah berada di Universitas Indonesia, Professor Farooq who is Syeikh as the and the director of Islamic development, of course, students educations in the Universitas of Indonesia, of course, students educations in the Universitas of Indonesia, and Abu Farooq here for both our brother Syeikh Uthman, Abu Farooq, welcome, salam, apa kabar Syeikh? Alhamdulillah. And of course, our speaker, our panelists, the Universitas, our long lecturer from Frankfurt. Because Syeikh had a very limited time, because his flight will be at 2:30, so we need to start very soon, and then we can have a dialogue with Syeikh Uthman. First, before we start, let me introduce you a little bit. My name is ke-9. I'm a lecturer in the Communication Department at the Universitas of Indonesia. And today we're going to have discussions about the challenge of global da'wah in the pluralistic society, which is a very important issue with Islamophobia, with a lot of hatred spread by the people, misunderstanding about Islam. I think this is a very important topic now. And today we have two very special panelists here, Syeikh Uthman and also the Darmus to talk about this. For your information, maybe anybody here is big fans of Syeikh Uthman? You're following in the social media? Okay, that's good, that's good. At least you're familiar already with Syeikh Uthman, right? And we hope we get the chance to take photo together with Syeikh Uthman. Syeikh Uthman ibn Farooq is an American Muslim scholar and preacher. He teaches at the Masjid Al-Ribad in San Diego, California. He has a name multiple ijazah or accreditations in the post of Kamal Fiqh, Usul Fiqh, Hadith, Mustafa Hadith, and Master Degree in Hadith Sciences. And I think if you follow his life history, I think we will take days to reach it. Maybe we need to have like a longer time together. But because our time is very limited, but for your information, Uthman actually has been finding his way to Islam and now leading more than 2,000 people perfectly to Islam. And what the strategy is using strategy of dawah on the street. If you follow the YouTube, for example, White Foundation, you will see how Syeikh Uthman actually discussing people on the street rationally, respectfully, actually to fight prejudice, and also some of them even non-protected others. You carry the shahada. And Dr. Agus, later maybe we will base the discussion first with Syeikh Uthman again limited time. Then the purpose will talk. But the purpose is actually professor in law and especially in Islamic economics law, but also how da'wah actually can be formulated better in the honest negotiations. Without further ado, let us slow down together and Syeikh Uthman to
جزاكم الله خيرا كريم كثير أفضل الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة خاتم الأنبياء أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. It's an interesting topic that we have, the challenges of global da'wah in a pluralistic society. And I will say that the greatest challenges is going back to the Quran itself. We don't move to reinvent Islam. Islam is perfect. We see other religious traditions constantly changing their laws. I mean, if you look at many of the discussions we had on the street in San Diego and other places in Dawah, it would seem we speak to people of the Jewish tradition who would say that this use of the Jewish tradition is no longer. There's a video you can see online on the Website Foundation channel. I spoke to a person of the Jewish respectfully. And they said, we used to believe in hell, but we don't anymore. That's where it went. We see other traditions where things are brought into the religious traditions. For example, if you look at Turkey, you will not find any concept of Christmas. Early Christianity, there's no Christmas. Until a particular pope brought the pagans as someone. There's a video online. There's a video from one of the best known evangelical Christian preacher who addressed this. that's a pagan, non-Christian, condemned by the church for many years, practice, but today, 99% of the Christians we see will celebrate it. Why this deed? Why this renewal? Why this change? Because when you don't start with perfection, they can try to improve things. But when you begin with perfection, you can't improve perfection. You can only go back. When we look at Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rabbul Muslimin. When you read Al-Fatiha, it doesn't say Rabbul Alameen. This is not a religion for the Arab or the Ajam or this country or that country or tradition. This is the religion of Allah. And it did not begin with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you look at other traditions like Judaism, the word Judaism comes from Judah. Whether you refer to Yaqub alayhi salam or the city of Judah, either which way, before Judah, there's no Judaism. Impossible. Christianity comes from Christ. Before Isa ibn Maryam, and they call Christ, there is no such thing as Christianity. You cannot say Ibrahim is not a Christian, there is no Christ. If you look at Buddhism, it comes from Buddha. The philosophy of Buddhism that exists before Buddha. But Islam is not such. We're not companies. We're not something that began as the Prophet Muhammad alayhi. He is the last of the prophets. But from the time of Adam alayhi, the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. Adam fight the Quran, the Ibrahim alayhi salam, and the deen of the Muslim. And we are the sign that says Jesus was a Muslim. And we believe this. Alayhi, we love all the prophets. We respect all the prophets. You will never see a Muslim disrespect a prophet. In the West, we see some people who want to cause hatred between the religions. And they make pictures and cartoons to incite Muslims. And they make movies and they make clips to try to cause hatred between the different communities. But as Muslims, we call towards peace and harmony. And that's why you never see a Muslim disrespect the Prophet Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, or the Prophet Moses, or the Prophet Abraham. We love all of them. We even say peace and blessings be upon them when we say their names. Somebody might say, okay, in theory, you say this. But Muhammad has said to the Arab, you say no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Rahmatun lil-Alameen, not lil-Arab or lil-Muslimeen, that for all of mankind, a mercy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a mercy for all of creation. Alameen, not just the Arab, the Alameen. All of the world, all of the different, even the malaika, the jinn, the insan, the animals, the Rasulullah was a mercy to them. And the religion of Islam is the religion of Allah. The same Allah that inspired Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam, and Dawood alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam, and Muhammad alayhi salam. All of them, same Allah sent that message. And that's what you find in common traditions. And we point towards that. If you look at the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Quran, you will find a message that fits. For example, the first of the 10 commandments is, Hear, O Israel, your Lord is one. The second commandment is, don't worship idols. Right? But then you see some religious traditions change now. They make 1 into 3, and 3 into 1, and then sometimes it becomes 2, and sometimes there's Holy Ghost, and sometimes there's Mary, and sometimes there's Visit, and sometimes the Son, and sometimes the Father. But that's not the message of Isa ibn Maryam. A message of Isa ibn Maryam, and the message of Musa alayhi salam, and the message of Dawood alayhi salam, and the same that the message of Rasulullah Muhammad alayhi salam. Allah is one. Don't make shirk, don't worship idols, don't worship other than Allah. This is the one, that's what our da'wah religion is called, one message from God. We believe we will always have one message. And if you look at this as a theory, no doubt, the Quran protects the rights of the minorities, and the Hadith mentions the rights of the minorities. But somebody might say, in practicality, Muslims are terrorists. I know we get this question now, that we're terrorists, we're terrorists, this. Okay? What's terrorism? To use force of political change, based definition. If you use that definition, then the first bombing used in the modern times for political change is the King David bombing historically, was done by Zionists, not by Muslims. The first people to utilize suicide bombings in the modern sense would be the kamikazes, not Muslims. If you look at the use of the suicide vest, it was the Tamil Tigers, not Muslims. If you talk about murder and killing and terrorism, then I would ask, who in history, as a single person, has been responsible himself for the most carnage, the most murders in the history of mankind, according to Western historians? Any guesses?
What? Not? What's the
Hitler? No. Close.
Take his hat. Say it was captive. He changed his hat.
Genghis Khan. Not recorded history. We don't know exactly how many he killed. Okay.
Another guess if we have to get this.
Stalin, according to historians. And there is an opinion that either the second or maybe higher than him was bound from China. Both of them 80s. You cannot ascribe the range to any tradition. But Stalin, he did have the Greek Orthodox Church, or the Roman Russian Orthodox Church. Either way, the two, at least top, murderers, terrorists, they used that terrorism for political, were not Muslims. Were not even believers in God in essence. And if you go down the line, you talk about Genghis Khan, none of those Muslims. Okay? There have been two major world wars in history. I hope your history department is good, so.
Yes, we do learn that against the high school.
I thought because we're at university levels, but anybody know those two world wars? Assuming everybody does. Which one of them was started by Muslims? No. Where were both of them started? Europe, of people of Christian faiths. Hitler, for example, even though he was World War II, you will find that he quoted the Bible in his speeches.
Yeah.
His symbol was an iron cross. So when you talk about terrorism, it's very interesting that the definition does not seem to always meet what's in the nation. Otherwise, no doubt, Muslims are the least on that scale. There are Muslims who go to extremism, and we condemn extremism. There are Muslims who go wrongly, and we condemn that. With the Quran and the Hadith, that's such a beautiful example that even if you look at Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and Western historians have said that when the Crusaders came, they blanketed, raped, and murdered and massacred. If you look at history, the Crusades were murderous, even though they were under the cross. With the name of Christianity, coming with the backing of the Pope, they murdered other Christians and raped and damaged. But when you look at Salah ibn Ayyubi, for example, according to Western and non-Muslim historians, this was the time where Christians and Jews and Muslims were able to live in peace. They were able to worship in peace, where there was no retributional killings and raping. None of this happened. If you look at Andalus, the Spain that was under Muslim rule, Western historians have told us that it was an example of a pluralistic society where people had rights, Christians had churches, Jews had synagogues, Muslims had masajid, and people were able to live in peaceful harmony. But when we look at the Spanish Inquisition, the problem is people forget history. They just watch Spanish Jews in media and movies. But if you look at its facts, the Spanish Inquisition was one of the greatest genocides in the history of mankind, where they massacred and murdered not just Muslims, but Jews and other Christians who didn't fit their form of Christianity, where they wiped them off the peninsula, killed them off, not let them leave a single one, tortured and murdered, genocide. The Spanish Inquisition, look it up. If you look at the colonial advances that were made by the British, by the French, by the Dutch, by the Germans, by the Italians, this was not done by Muslims. And Muslims, when they did go to other lands, they gave them down. For example, here, we are an example setting as an area of the peaceful down. The Sahaba came to Indonesia and Malaysia in these lands, one came here, not with the sword, not with wars, but that's not the good marriage. And that's why, even after that they're running for Arabianness, you see the land of Islam being built here. We're the biggest Muslim societies in the world, the biggest Muslim country in the population of the world, without fighting. When you look at the Dutch and others that came here, they forced the religion, and even then it has a stay, because we can't force people's heart. So we say, in Islam, in the Quran, in the Hadith, and in practical implementation. We have the answer to society's problems. Our greatest challenge is to go back to Islam, to lead ways that contradict the Quran and the Sunnah, to lead the ways. One of the problems we face is Muslim countries have now become the most corrupt, with rishwa, bribery, and nepotism, and you see people not following the religious rulings of Islam. If we were to follow the religious rulings of Islam, wallahi, I serve Allah, we will become an example for the world. Like Umar Abdul Aziz, as we read even by our Muslim historians, that his 2 years and a few months, very short reign, with such a beautiful society that people would be going around looking for who can take zakat and there'd be nobody. Today, imagine, even in America, if you take money out in the streets and who wants it, people will kill each other over it. But a society that is so just and so free, and this is historic. This is not a fairy tale. This is not Hollywood. This is not Atlanta. This is not these fictional things. No, this is what history has recorded. So, our challenge is to first and foremost that Muslims practice Islam correctly. Go back to the Quran, go back to the Sunnah of Mustafa alayhi salatu, go back to see the example of the Salaf Salihin, of the righteous people in the past, set a beautiful example for us, and then bring that into our life. And there is no technological or time-based challenge we can't face. Because our tradition has the concept of qiyas. We can take traditions which are from nusul, from actual evidences, and I'm sure that it's said before, I need to speak about this, and we can look at new situations and derive ideas. So we are not bound to live in 6th century Arabia. No, our religion is applicable at that time as it will become a deal. So inshallah, with this, I would like to mention one last thing. Alhamdulillah, I was raised in her. That as much of my life as I can remember, most of the calls been in her. I traveled the world, alhamdulillah, I've been to many places, and I tell you, the growth of Islam is everywhere, alhamdulillah. In America, we are seeing more and more of people coming to Islam, more than before, and they are practicing Islam more strictly than our Muslim countries. But alhamdulillah, those people that accept Islam, we see great mannerisms from them. We see them dedicated to da'wah, we see them sacrificing. Even here, subhanAllah, there's a trip to set up by a couple of brothers, they're both readers. They both need wisdom. So we see that Allah doesn't need us. The religion of Islam will spread. It will enter each household. Whatever the day and night go, the religion of Islam will go. But the question for us sitting here is, what role will we play in? Islam is not the spectator sport. You know what a spectator sport is? When you sit there and just watch. Islam is something you have to live. Islam is something you have to act upon. So we have to be involved. We have to be examples. You know, we have, subhanAllah, a lot of Orientalists. And Sister University, I'm sure you know about, did a plots against Islam by studying Islam and so on. But one of the Orientalists wrote something very interesting. And he said that Islam is a winning case, but Muslims are horrible lawyers. Islam is a case that in law and in court and win, but Muslims are horrible attorneys. They're not good at representing. And that's our challenge. The global challenge is to set the good example, but the example of honesty. The Prophet ﷺ set such a beautiful example that even his enemies would leave their amanah, their trust in him. You know, when he was making the hijrah from Mecca to Medina, one of the reasons he left Ali ibn Abi Talib behind was to return the amanah, the trust that was left by the mushrikeen, by the ones that were trying to tempt him ﷺ, to make sure that the honesty is there. The Prophet ﷺ, at one time, a man told him, I want to meet you at this place at this time. The Prophet went there. The man was forgotten for 3 days. The Prophet stayed there until he saw the man. The man said, I forgot. He said, you forgot? But I could not bring my daughter. Allah. And you look at the beautiful example of the Prophet ﷺ. You look at the beautiful example of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu. That when they would go to the different lands, they would bring justice and peace. And this is why, as Muslims, we need to bring that example to ourselves, and we need to share it. It cannot just be for ourselves. We have to be involved in the da'wah in whatever capacity we can. Whether we can to our social media, whether we can to just supporting those that are doing the da'wah, whether we can by encouraging our husbands and children and brothers, and encouraging our ulama and shuyukh and du'a by whatever service we can offer. We all have to be involved in the da'wah. This is for every one of us. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and I'm ending with this hadith to open up for a discussion. He said, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَا أُبَالِي. Beautiful hadith. بَلِّغُوا عَلَى التَّكْلِيفِ وَعَنِّي عَلَى التَّشْرِيفِ وَلَوْ أَلَيَ عَلَى التَّنْسِيفِ. بَلِّغُوا, Rasulullah is giving us a responsibility that go, man and woman, Arab and Arab, doesn't matter, scholar and armed person, go and convey. This is a responsibility put upon us by who? The Prophet ﷺ. Who gave you permission? Which organization? Which jama'ah? Which whatever? No, Anni. On the authority of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ is the one that has given us this responsibility. This is an honor for us. We are the messengers of the messenger. Whatever time, even if to know a single time, this made it easy. You don't have to be a Shaykh of Islam or a Muhaddith or a Mufti. But if you're going to give da'wah, don't give fatwa. Don't talk about what you don't know about. If somebody asks a question you don't know, say, la ilaha illallah. Umar al-Aziz, Umar al-Tabbar, Abdullah ibn Umar, as Ibn al-Tabbar, he mentions, he said, knowledge is in three things. The Quran, was Sunnah, wa qawl, la adri wallahu a'lam. In the Quran, in the Sunnah, and say, I don't know Allah's best. If a question comes you don't know, take it to the scholars, to the people of knowledge, and then bring the answer back. But as a common person, that was still your responsibility and my responsibility, which Allah ta'ala, I'll open up to our brother who facilitate questions.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to the performance. So, to save the time, because we haven't got limited time, jadi yang bisa mereka beri sebenarnya share soalnya mereka akan dalam besar besar yang benar bisa kembali Islam ini sendiri tentang apa yang sudah sudah sempurna ya, tidak seperti kita yang kita ada orang lain, tidak sempurna sehingga basis dan tempat ini dibuat mereka seperti tidak konsisten. That's with this challenge to kita praktis Islam. Dan selain itu utama adalah Islam itu ada yang sempurna, tapi kita adalah apa namanya usaha betul biasanya tidak menjadi pendahuluan yang baik atau menjadi agen atau humas Islam yang baik. Maknanya tantangan saya adalah lakukan perhatian waktu sekecil waktu bukan yang kecil hanya satu ayat sesuai satu bekerja. So the message foundation that tidak perlu ribet-ribet, tidak disulit-sulitin apa yang kita tahu, tidak apa yang kamu sudah tahu sudah hampir buat sebenarnya people nice. Okay, now it's time for us to Q&A, and for the question and answer, you are free to ask patient in Indonesian, in Arabic, or in English. It's up to you. So I will help if you say English, if Arabic, and you speak Arabic very well, and also English, I think that's his language. Okay, so without further ado, I will give the time to support you. And thank you to the others for your kindness, because they understand that sharing us a bit of time. Will the Q&A increase? What about? Thank you, Stanana.
Maksudnya,
you're good, right?
terima kasih.
If you want to ask, if you don't want to speak, you can write down your questions and give it to me, and I will bring the questions to you with Shell's mic.
Cinta Indonesia.
Yeah. Kami cinta Shell's Santo.
The sign that started himself. I've got to question it. Was the best way to attack or to inspire nanos and friends with actually close price in the exams and this point questions. I'm on my 40 now, so it's a little like your point. What? keeping all those signs. The much out, well less to go through genetics.
So what is your suggestions? The best way to learn is systematically. I mean, I believe you know Syeikh you should ask this maybe share his experience or maybe other friends that on the portable more to learn Islam, not just randomly but systematically.
So morning, so bye because I'm good
We're finding Syeikh Bay.
Sharif, Allah Mubarak, Allah first question, how to give da'wah to your close friends? With the president?
You speak for that now.
Is unique for
To give da'wah, first and foremost, we must have good love. And need to have good mannerisms, to be kind, to be honest, to be a good example. But then also evaluate the situation. There is no one model fits all. Like people think there is some one like secret recipe that works. No, da'wah is unique to per situation. Certain people that might be your friends that go to certain hardships that might be a good time. Some that don't worry there is qadar, Allah has written there, don't worry the life is a test. Give them some ayat and ahadith about sabr, and that might be the guidance for them. Some people maybe speaking to them about the scientific literature of the Quran or the literature of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is why we started recording the videos on the One Message Foundation channel, just as a training. We don't make money off the channel. It's not about having views or subscribers. It's all about training people how to give da'wah. So go through the videos and see how we do in different situations, and then evaluate your friends. Which one should I approach? Like there's a video that I have, if you want about wound splitting, it talks about the medical splitting the wound, the scientific authority, and in different Bible evidences. So you can definitely use that. And don't share the people with your friends. Any way you think, how could this have been done? Look at that evidences. We have videos and we talk about the medical of the Quran. You should share that with your friends. And then tell them, look, what do you think? And then ask them, what's holding you back from videos? And whatever it might be, clarify that issue and make dua from them to ask Allah to make you a means of guidance. Regarding our brother Universitas, I'll let him speak for himself. I don't speak on his behalf. He has many videos where he talks about his experience. You can watch those. But we at Western Ribat, on the YouTube, we also have a message channel. We have syllabuses of how to study. So we have the rules, we have the rules, we have the feed of the rules, we have the science, and they're all free. So you can go to them, go to the playlist, and inshallah, no matter what age you are, no matter where you are, you can develop through the proper sciences there. And if you have one ulama who teach from the Prophet and Sunnah, that would be the best.
Islam dan Christianity berapa tahap dan berproses, tapi yang penting adalah next questions, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can I speak Indonesian? Alhamdulillah, saya berada di Islam itu begitu indah. Sehingga saya sekarang menikmati bagaimana sih berislam yang sesuai dengan sunnah dan hadis. Ternyata tidak semudah membalikkan telapak tangan kita itu. Tatkala kita mendakwai diri kita sendiri, keluarga kita atau ke masyarakat. Terlebihnya masyarakat yang memang awam, luar biasa. Itu benar-benar butuh hard power gitu. Jadi tatkala kita memang mendakwahkan kepada masyarakat, tatkala kita memang tahu, karena dakwah itu termasuk pernah saya membaca bahwa sampaikanlah satu ayat, walaupun kita hanya tahunya satu ayat, padahal dengan dakwah satu ayat itu pun sudah dinilai suatu pahala yang luar biasa dari Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Dan bagaimana sih kiat-kiat kita tatkala kita mendakwahi kepada mereka orang awam yang memang belum tahu adanya sunnah Rasulullah SAW. Karena begitu banyak kendala yang memang saya hadapi gitu loh. Tatkala saya memang saya hijrah sekitar 3 tahun gitu ya saat pindah di Jogja. Jadi mereka benar-benar kayak menolak gitu loh. Tatkala menyampaikan kebenaran Islam itu kita benar-benar kadang bersedih hati untuk apa istilahnya mendakwahkan ke mereka itu. Bagaimana sih tatkala kita satu contoh gini, tatkala kita tahu bahwa dari hukumnya berhijab seperti apa, kita menyampaikan begini loh, menjulurkan jilbab itu sampai benar-benar ke bawah, bukannya kita kayak selendang seperti itu. Ternyata mereka bilang bahwa apa sih urusan lo gitu. Kenapa lo bilang kayak gitu? Sedangkan kita benar-benar di suratnya Al-Azhar udah yakin di situ seperti itu. Dan bagaimana hati-hati kita mendapatkan kepada orang-orang yang memang awam dalam hal seperti itu. Sekian saya. Jawaban Allah Wassalamualaikum.
Da'wah is done with hikmah. You have to always have wisdom. And then if you're not sure, always ask Allah. Make dua and then oh Allah, show me how should I approach. So you look at a situation, somebody's very ignorant, they don't know anything, right? You begin with the basics, right? To start with, okay, you know there is Allah, you know Allah created everything, you know Allah sent the Prophet. So most people don't know this. You know Allah revealed the Quran, yes. Do you believe in the Quran, yes. Do you believe in the Prophet ﷺ? Then teach them, look, this is what Allah said in the Quran. Basic, not everything at once. And the revealed book all about Iman. If the rulings revealed in Mecca, like don't drink, don't do zina, don't gamble, don't do, then nobody would have been able to follow. So first Allah built this Iman, and when they meet the hijab, then after that came most of the ahkam in Medina. Tell the people about the Quran and how Allah forbid the shirk. Even the Quraysh had their own tradition. The Prophet ﷺ faced the same thing. We have to tell them that traditions of what you eat and things like this is no problem. But traditions that conflict with the Quran, you have to take the Rabbul Alameen's kalam or whatever it else.
Yang penting adalah bagaimana mengatasi perilaku syirik itu namanya tekad. Kalau untuk tradisi-tradisi yang itu sifatnya masih bukan dosa-dosa besar, itu mungkin perlahan kita perbaiki. Tapi yang paling penting suaranya lebih keras.
Yang penting cara kita menghadapi orang yang punya religious common. Misalnya itu, contohnya itu dulu waktu awal hijrah itu, pokoknya langsung jor-joran gitu lah, kayak sedekahnya jor-joran, semua joran. Terus tiba-tiba sekarang kayak dia merasakan trauma dalam agama gitu loh.
We have a saying in America, you can translate it by bit. How do you eat an elephant?
Oh, di pertanyaannya, jadi di Amerika ada kata, bagaimana cara makan gajah?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Sekali makan.
So when you come to Islam, don't think the first day you're going to become a faqih and muhaddith and qari.
Kalau mau ke kitab hijrah atau ke Islam, jangan berpikir langsung ingin jadi ulama besar dan ahli hadis apa.
Take one step at a time.
Lakukan bertahap.
The first thing, the aqidah, the belief, the iman.
Dan yang paling penting adalah akidah dan iman yang penting.
Then the 5 times salah.
Baru habis itu sholat lima.
Then from the fara'id of fasting and zakat and hajj.
Baru habis itu puasa, zakat, haji dan seterusnya.
Slowly.
Pelan-pelan aja, awal-awal.
But keep making progress.
Tapi harus membuat kemajuan dan asyik bagus.
That Allah give us all istiqamah on the deen.
Coba kita sih di bawah, di jalan sama.
Dan menurut pandangan saya FPBM itu orang-orangnya lebih ke berbudaya western seperti. Kemudian metode yang biasa kita gunakan untuk berdakwah adalah mengundang teman-teman untuk datang ke masjid. Dan hal itu kami rasa kurang berhasil. Dan kami melihat contoh ulama-ulama yang ada di US, yang ada di London, mereka berdakwah menggunakan dakwah table. Mereka keluar ke jalan-jalan dan mendakwahkan orang-orang di jalanan. Jadi nggak mengundang orang-orang masjid, tapi pendakwah itu yang keluar. Nah, sebenarnya hal itu yang pengen kami terapkan untuk berdakwah di FEB-UGM seperti itu. Apakah hal ini menurut Syeikh adalah hal yang mungkin cocok atau tidak untuk diterapkan di lingkungan seperti di Indonesia ini? Seperti itu.
Our brother here is actually one of the activists of Dakwah in his campus, where people are more into Western style, according to him. And he uses style to invite them to masjid, and he doesn't work. So he would like to learn about how to outreach people, like go to the street, talk to them directly.
Da'wah has certain principles. Right? We don't do haram, we don't bring music, we don't bring things that are not permissible in da'wah.
dakwah punya aturan-aturan tertentu, misalnya kita nggak pakai musik, kita nggak pakai gambar-gambar dan seterusnya.
But then you have to, after that, evaluate your situation.
Tapi sesudah itu kita sudah melakukan proses dakwah itu kita harus mengevaluasi situasi kita.
Within the boundaries of the Sharia,
masih dalam koridor syariah Islam.
You know the situation best, right? So you can bring international speakers, people that maybe would attract an audience. You can have events. You can have charity drives where people may get involved through that. You can have lectures from local scholars, bring them in, or you can have competitions, fun competitions to learn.
Ya, banyak cara yang bisa dilakukan. Bisa kita melakukan event-event, bisa kita mengundang pembicara dari tokoh mungkin orang luar negeri, mungkin tokoh lokal gitu kan dari kampus, atau bikin ada kegiatan amal atau kegiatan-kegiatan lain yang bisa menarik orang untuk datang.
In America, we use different techniques. At certain times we have tables we put out. Certain times we go and challenge the atheists on evolution and bring people, scholars that can challenge them. We use whatever we see to be practical within the boundaries of Sharia.
Kalau dalam teknik di Amerika dakwah sedikit berbeda. Misalnya di sini ada yang kita keluar, kita bikin stand atau bawa meja gitu, orang bisa ngobrol nanti langsung tanya jawab. Atau mungkin kita pergi cari ngobrol dengan orang-orang ateis yang mungkin tentang evolusi dan mungkin teori-teori lain. Tapi itu semua harus dilakukan dalam koridor syariah.
Bring together the practicing Muslim brothers, have maybe bowling nights, maybe camping, and bring one or two people with you. And then when they're with you in a good environment, it will change.
Dan kita bisa juga mengadakan kegiatan sosial dengan beberapa sahabat-sahabat muslim gitu kan, yang mungkin kita berkumpul, mungkin camping atau mungkin kegiatan tertentu. Nah, di saat itu nanti kita akan bangun atmosfer positif yang bisa membuat orang berubah.
But whatever happens, keep going.
Apapun yang terjadi, tetap lanjutkan.
Jazakumullah khairan. Anyone else?
Yes.
I know maybe this question will trigger some people, but here's the question. I want to ask, how we can encourage people who want to do suicide, don't do that, but in a lovely way or in a friendly way, because we know there are people out there who said don't do suicide, you will go to hell, you will enter hell and Allah will at you or whatever is that. So how we encourage people to not do suicide? So that's the question. Thank you in advance.
Everybody protects life, everybody enjoys life. So first try to figure out what they're being bothered by. Maybe they did some sin and they feel very guilty. Or you tell them, look, Allah is the most merciful and forgiving. Maybe something happened in their life and they put them into depression. So you tell them, look, Allah wrote the qadar, it's what's best for you. You may not realize it, but in the future you'll see why it's good. There is a beautiful story in the Quran, true story of Khidr and Musa alayhi wasalam, and many people don't learn the lesson from this. And it's a very long story, a very beautiful story. I don't have time to go into the whole thing, but one aspect of it, there is a young boy that is killed. And he is killed because Allah knows, and Allah has revealed to Khidr, that when he grows older, he will himself be an oppressor and he will be a fitna for his parents to take them away from the religion. So when he dies at a younger age, he goes to Jannah and his parents are saved from the fitna, so it's best for them. But they don't know that. They don't know it's Khidr, they don't know it's Musa alayhi salam. They just know their son was killed. So to them, it was something horrible, but in reality, it was the best for them. So tell people if they're depressed about something, we may not realize it, but whatever happens is the best. It's in qadar. Explain to them life is temporary. There is a Jannah that is everlasting, and if you commit suicide, you bar yourself from it. So be from those that are patient and be in an everlasting Jannah with no worries and no sorrow. So find out the issue and lovingly, with hikmah, try to clarify that so a person can walk away from such a horrible sin and such a waste of life.
Ya, menghadapi orang yang ingin, tadi pertanyaan waktu di sana tadi adalah tentang bagaimana cara orang yang mau bunuh diri itu nasihatnya dengan cara yang baik, dengan cara yang gitu yang pas gitu. Syeikh memberikan saran adalah yang paling penting adalah satu, orang mau berhijrah, satu dia punya masalah. Masalahnya apa? Kita harus bantu, gitu kan? Dan pastikan bahwasanya Allah itu selalu memberikan masalah itu tidak melebihi beban yang. Dan yang kedua, kira-kira apa yang buat dia berhenti? Mungkin itu depresi. Depresi itu apa? Mungkin dia belum tahu hikmah dari kejadian yang menimpa dia, seperti dalam kisah Nabi Khidir dan Musa, seorang anak yang dibunuh, yang tidak tahu gitu kan, mungkin mikir perbuatan yang kejam, tapi yang tahu bahwasanya hikmah di balik itu adalah dia kalau sudah besar anak tadi dari kisah Khidir dan Musa, dia akan menjadi seorang lindas gitu. Jadi itu yang terbaik. Yang paling penting adalah kita adalah menghadapi orang tadi yang commit suicide itu kita berikan pemahaman dan diskusi dan dialog yang ada dia mengatasi masalah dan mengatasi depresi. Lalu apa yang kita bahas?
Saat ini di media sosial, saya pikir sudah pengaruh tinggi ya tingkatannya. Sementara anak-anak muda Muslim ini dicepoki paham pluralisme agama. Tidak boleh merasa agamanya paling benar. Tidak boleh bilang agama lain salah. Dan kita dituntut di negara kita harus menjunjung tinggi toleransi. Padahal Islam terus menjadi sumber kebencian. Menghadapi Islamofobia seperti itu di negara kita menjadi hal solusinya.
Yeah, the sister is asking about how to fight Islamophobia, especially in the context of.
I don't know the political situation, so I will leave that to you brothers who are more adept than me to explain. But nobody can tell me I can't say Islam is the best. It's the best. It's the only religion accepted by Allah in the Quran. And no doubt that Islam is a religion that teaches us respect and teaches us that non-Muslims living in a Muslim country have rights. And alhamdulillah, that's something in the Quran, that's something in the Sunnah, and has been practiced by the Muslim Ummah. So within that, we cannot tolerate Islamophobia. People who speak ill about the Quran and the Sunnah, we will speak against that, as we are capable of speaking, without violence, without disrupting society. But even if you speak to people in person, nobody can stop you. You can promote those speakers like us who speak these things openly. Then all those Islamophobic ideas have been thrown at us, and you can see in the videos, we respond to them.
Dan kalau memang kita tidak mampu melakukan, kita tidak bisa berbicara, serahkan pada tokoh atau mungkin seperti aktivis seperti Syeikh Uthman ini yang akan berbicara menghadapi itu, yang kita siap menghadapi apapun itu berkaitan dengan kebencian terhadap Islam dan sampai tentang kesulitan.
For me, I have no fear from any government or anybody else. I speak the truth, and it's because of it.
You're almost killed many times, right?
Almost. One of these days it will be. Alhamdulillah, no problem. This life is temporary, and we don't do wrong. We don't call towards violence. We don't call towards hatred. We call towards peace and love and harmony. And we fear nobody.
Kita doakan Syeikh Uthman setelah ini sehat selalu dan selamat jalan. Have a nice flight, safe trip. Brother, see you soon. We don't say goodbye. We say see you soon, inshallah. Insyaallah. Jangan lupakan Syeikh Uthman di doa kita ya.
Di bulan Juli 2023 insya Allah Dr. Syeikh akan datang kembali ke Jogja dan di Indonesia.
Ini.